Richie?
Yes,
Hey, it's Tommy Sommers with 1013 Music Review. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for talking to me today. I appreciate it.
Great.
Uh, I've been listening to the new CD, 50 for 50, and I actually really like it. I think it's a very solid record. Tell me a little bit about how you decided to record this album and why it's a solo project versus doing stuff with Winery Dogs.
Well, I decided to make another record, what would have been a normal length record. So I was on tour last year with my band, and we were doing festivals in Europe, and I was kind of reviewing material while I was on the road. And at that point, I had maybe 12 or 13 songs finished that were going to be on my next record, which would have been released in 2020. And as I'm listening to the songs, I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I started going through some archives of ideas, and I realized that I had a considerable amount of material that was in various stages of completion, and some things really, some things were further along than others, and to the point where they really just needed to be mixed and added, a few overdubs added. And then other things were nothing more than just an idea. And so once I got home, I started kind of working on this stuff, and I got into this kind of flow where I was finished one of those ideas and suddenly write something brand new. And so it kind of snowballed into this creative kind of whirlwind. And before I knew it, I had written and recorded over 30 songs. And it was some point, towards the end of the summer, and I thought, well, I'm going to keep going here. If I can get to 50, maybe I'll release a 50-song record on February 3rd, which is when I turned 50. So obviously I got there, and here we are. My last record is 50 songs that you've never heard that I wrote. So it was kind of an interesting thing. And once I got into it, it kind of started feeding itself. Not as difficult to do as you might have thought.
Really? Well, and I just, the first idea I had thinking about it is I was like, wow, this is really quite an accomplishment, to be able to produce 50 songs. And you have a real variety of music on this record. Some of it's, I would say overall, you're a very soulful artist. And in all honesty, I was not that familiar with your work up until this past year. Izzy Presley, who is probably your number one fan, uh, talking well, and you may actually want to put a picture of him outside your venue when you go play live just to kind of keep him out. He just has touted you guys and gone on and on forever. So I came and saw you play with the Winery Dogs at First Avenue this past year, and I was blown away by how musical it was. I know that maybe sounds weird. I'm not a musician. I'm just a fan of music, but soulful would be the word I would use. Uh, I think that it's interesting that you're making music when you have so many people saying, the music industry is dead or rock is dead. How do you feel about that? Obviously, you don't agree because you put out this huge body of work.
Well, I mean, compared to what it was when I started playing music, one could definitely make a strong argument for what you're saying. It certainly is not what it was when I started playing live in the mid '80s. When I was 15, I was in a full-time cover band, and so it was definitely a scene, and that lasted all the way through into the early '90s, and things kind of went sideways, especially for hard rock.
Yeah.
So, the answer to that question is I never did it for any reason other than something that I enjoy doing. And at this point, writing for me is just, it's what I've become. I've become a guy that loves to be creative within the format of music. If I had the skills to draw, I would be a painter. But, music is the thing that I started with very young, and early on I realized, really matter to me what's happening, as far as the perception of rock being alive or dead. It's not so much the focus for me as it is that when I have an idea for a composition, I work through it and walk away with something new.
Well, you and I are about the same age, so I'm assuming that you also grew up on top 40 radio. And things have changed a lot, obviously, over the years, and music has come and gone. And to your point, in the 90s, hard rock took a real hit. I'd like to know, do you still look back on some of the stuff that you grew up on and listen to for inspiration moving forward?
Yeah, I guess I do. I have to say the music that I grew up listening to was interesting because my mom was a big music fan, and so she saw Jimi Hendrix live. She saw the Beatles the first time they came to the United States, the Rolling Stones, the Twin Tears, on and on and on. So all those records were being played in my house. And then at the same time, my father was very much into R&B and soul music. So I had this kind of pendulum swing from what we now call classic rock to R&B and soul music. So one of the first concerts I saw when I was young was Stevie Wonder at Valley Forge Music Fair. And it was a round stage, so the entire time he was playing, him and the band were moving in circles, so you could see everything from every angle. And it was one of the most incredible concerts I ever went to. And then about a month later, I saw George Benson at the same venue. And so there I had my kind of soul jazz influence established at a very young age. But then at the same time, shortly after that, I discovered Iron Maiden. So we went to see Iron Maiden at the Allentown Fairgrounds, and that was a whole other thing that got me really into the electric guitar and that sort of stuff. So I had this kind of influence of rock and soul music, both at an equal level. And so I suppose at this point that kind of comes through in my writing. But yeah, I do look back and listen to the Number of the Beast, for example. I'll go back and put on a talking book by Stevie Wonder or Breezy by George Benson, and it kind of brings you back to a cool time, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me is, to me, music is good no matter what genre it is. It's all about the song. So it's interesting to hear that you had that type of upbringing where you were exposed to a lot of different styles, because I think that's one of the problems I have with people that love metal, is so many of them are just tied into this metal thing that they don't look at anything else. And there's nothing wrong with Iron Maiden, but there's more to life than Iron Maiden.
Well, I always say to each his own. I'm not out to try to convince someone else what they should or shouldn't like. Personally, I can appreciate anything that has integrity. If you look at the architecture, for example, I always loved English Tudor style homes, and that's the kind of home that I lived in, and I kind of like the wood and the woodwork and the staircase and the railings and all that sort of thing. However, if someone builds a beautiful, modern, state-of-the-art home, and it's done the right way, I can get with that too. I think it comes down to the integrity, and so I'm always the kind of person that, if something's done really well, be it a polka song. I don't listen to that kind of music, but, if someone does it really well, I have to acknowledge that if it resonates. Not everybody is wired that way. This is not really my problem or my objective to convince someone to think differently. Like I said, I think it's definitely a each his own element. I don't really get involved in debating people over who's a better singer or who's a better guitar player, any of that sort of thing.
Well, yeah, because you can just get lost in the abyss because there's always someone who's going to want to fight with you. Is the house in the video for Devil's Hand, is that your home? Because that's a Tudor style.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Okay, yeah, beautiful home. So I totally understand. And one of the things I like to share in these interviews for people that may not be familiar with Richie's work, be it as a solo artist or as with Winery Dogs, is with this new record 50 for 50, some of the tracks that really stand out to me, and I think it's because I'm so much more pop oriented. So if you guys want to check some out and you're not familiar, As You Are, More Than This, Nickel Hustler, Turning the Table, Black Mark, or Life is Gonna Give It to You. All of these songs really stood out to me, and I'm not really sure if they have anything in common with one another, but at least from listening to it, that was some of the highlights.
Yeah, and I think they're all on the first disc too. So
Oh, they are. I suppose they are.
I got lucky and front loaded the
Yeah.
record for you.
Well, you know, I've been listening to it for the last 3 or 4 days. Amanda was kind enough to send it over, and I've been listening. And I wanted to get a real feel for it before we spoke because I didn't want to go in here blind, going, "Oh, I don't know anything about you." But it's really it's the kind of music that you can listen to in the car, or you can listen to at home at night with a glass of wine. And I'd love to see people get back to just listening to music and turn the stupid TV off for a while and enjoy the art of the song. And I think that you capture that beautifully.
Great. Well, thanks. Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me to do wasn't really finishing the music or writing it. It was really sequencing it. And so it was a challenge in not only deciding what song was going to go where, but figuring out, once I had a sequence for one disc that I liked, the first time I tried to do it, I ended up with like 10 minutes of empty space. And then I tried to sequence it again, and I didn't have enough space. So that was kind of the hardest part. But I definitely enjoyed the process, and I really wanted to finish this music. The idea of incomplete work sitting on a hard drive somewhere was starting to kind of drive me crazy. And the reality is, there's still a batch of ideas that need to be dealt with. So maybe I can make a B-side and release that before the year's over of 50 for 50.
Which is fantastic. I think that that would be a great idea. I don't know. I admire anyone who is out there still actually making new music because I think it's important. The hard part for me as we get older is when we were kids, you used to hang out with your friends and they'd bring some records over and say, hey, check out this band if you've never heard of them or this artist. Now it's like it's harder to find new music. You actually really have to physically go search for it because a lot of people don't have friends around that are handing you new stuff to listen to.
Right.
Was this like making the ultimate mixtape for you when you were trying to decide the sequencing of the record?
Yeah, I guess you could say that a little bit, right? I think in the end I came up with something that works. I decided what I was going to open with, which is pretty obvious from the beginning for me, and then for the end, I kind of knew what I wanted to close with. And then I thought, well, I think what I'm going to do is open each of the three discs with something that's more guitar driven and more expected. And then I'll end each disc with something that's a little more mellow and a little bit unexpected. And then, kind of see what I can put in the middle. And so, in the end, I'm happy with the sequence. The cool thing about the way things are today is that you can make your own playlist. So, as you go through the record, there's nothing wrong with changing my sequence and coming up with something that works better for you.
Yeah, and that is nice. It is. And I like to put that together and then also take some of these songs and mix it with some of the other stuff that I have as well, so that I always have this ongoing playlist. You know, um, Tell me, so far in your career, what has been the most or your greatest moment so far?
I have to say the greatest thing about it all is that my entire existence is based on music that I've written. So, it's I go out and play shows. Yes, I'm known as a guitar player. Yes, I've played in bands here and there. But the reality is that I survive based on songs that I write and my music and then performing those songs. And even to the degree of me being in whatever bands I've been in, it's the capacity of me being in the band as a songwriter. So I was never what I would constitute as a hired gun. I was always in a position where I was writing creatively, contributing to the album that I was working on. And so here I am many, many years later, and I live the lifestyle I live because of the music I've written. And the irony is I've never had a hit, at least by the sense of what I would consider a hit song being. I've never done it, but somehow I'm able to live off my music, and so I think that for me is the best part of what I can say. Looking to say something positive, I think that would be it.
Well, and that's a great point that you bring up because I don't think that having a hit is the be all end all. I mean, there's plenty of one hit wonders that had a big hit, and where are they now? I think it's the longevity that's really what makes you as an artist versus the ability to climb the chart or have a song that everyone loves for 10 minutes.
And it's interesting, how things work. But you can look at it any way you want. In the end, I've never really done anything other than play music, so I probably should not be complaining at any point about anything.
Hey, if you can make a living at doing what you love, no matter whether you're a carpenter or a musician or an attorney or whatever, it's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Richie, I've taken enough of your time. I just want to say thank you so much for being so open and willing to talk to us today. Um, Please, people, anyone that's listening, get out there and support Richie and what he's doing in his solo career as well as his band. You can pick up 50 for 50 pretty much everywhere that it would be available. You can still pick up physical copies of it at your local record store. You can also purchase it on Amazon. So get out there and give it a try and get engaged.